Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second episode of Engage with Sage. Today we have Miss Turner. Hi, Miss Turner, and Mr. Adamson. We are super excited that you are all here with us. When you guys start turning on, go ahead and post your name and any questions that you might have for Mr. Adamson and Miss Turner. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started with question one. And this is for both of you guys. Let's start with Elias's question. How is quarantine affecting you other than work, physically or mentally?
So I've been doing some experimenting with cooking and some different things like that. So that's been fun, taking some risk with that. But I definitely have my days that I like today when it's not very sunny and it's cloudy, I struggle to kind of get motivated. So I'm hanging in there, and I'm listening to the experts and making sure I go out and do some physical exercise, get off of my computers and my phone, and do other things. So that's I'm doing the best we can in this time.
Awesome.
Physically, I think that, working on the computer all the time is really hard because you're not up and about. I'm used to walking around the classroom, getting questions, listening to people, doing those kinds of things. And working from the computer is a lot of sitting. So I've tried to make sure I'm out walking a lot, doing those kinds of things too. And I think the other thing that's really hard mentally is I know that my kids are having a tough time not seeing friends at all, and for adults it's the same way. Not seeing friends, not seeing family, not getting the chance to interact with them as much as you have, and it's that does take its toll. And I understand, both for kids and adults, it's a hard thing to go through.
Awesome. So right now we have 16 people watching us live, and we're so happy you're here, up to 20 now. So make sure if you're able to go ahead and comment your name and any questions you guys have, and we'll make sure we answer those live here on Engage with Sage. Okay, Drew wants to know, where did you teach before Sage?
So I taught my very first teaching job was at Wynwood Elementary. I taught there for 7 years. Then I moved to Clardy as a Sage teacher. But this is only my 15th year, which I came to teaching later. I had a career before this. So I worked for Trans World Airlines. I made group reservations. So I've kind of seen both sides of the job market, having a professional job as well as having having a corporate job, and then also having a teaching job. So that's my teaching experience. I also did some preschool work, working in a preschool.
Awesome. All right, Mr. Adamson.
I've been teaching a long time. I'm pretty old, so I started off teaching at Gracemore Elementary, which is where I met my wife, and some of you have had her, Mrs. Adamson, who teaches at Belle Prairie, and I've taught at West Englewood. And I started Sage in elementary at Meadowbrook, and then went to Sage at Maple Park, and then came to the Sage Center. So a lot of places in the North Kansas City district.
Awesome. A couple that Caitlin's here, and she wanted to say hi to you guys.
Hello.
Hi, Caitlin.
Hi, Caitlin.
We have Torres is joining us as well in the comments, and she's saying hi. And we also have Miss Duffett here. So we're super excited to have everyone here. Yeah. All right. Kiara wants to know, I was really, Mr. Adamson, I kind of know kind of your thoughts on this, but I'd love to hear it. Kiara wants to know, how do you come up with UOS topics? Mr. Adamson, let's start with you.
Well, I think it has to stem from some interest that you have, because otherwise you wouldn't be good at doing it. And I love science and technology and those kind of things. So that's where I start coming up with subjects, is in the things I enjoy. Forensic science was something I've always been interested in, watching, shows, true crime, doing those kinds of things. So learning about the science behind it was something I really, really enjoy. So those kinds of things. And I think that you have to also look at your strengths. And I think I'm a very logical thinker, and logic and technology and science go well together.
Awesome.
Yeah, definitely having a passion for what you're teaching. I have always been a lifelong learner, and I enjoy that. And I kind of started kind of seeing in the classroom kids that struggled with having those hands-on experiences, like using a hammer, using those things. And so when we got the opportunity to develop our SAGE course or SAGE Center and having those tools available, I think that was I really wanted kids to be able to get in there and make. I think that you guys have such creativity. You have limitless, you don't have the boundaries that adults tend to get as you age, that you've been told no too many times, I think. So for me, just giving you guys the experience of knowing that you can do this, and that, we don't have, I was a kid, we didn't go spend the summers, but my parents would go spend the summers with their grandparents on the farm and learn how to do all of these things and be able to fix things. And so I really wanted to see that gap close with being able to let kids know that they can be part of the making process, the fixing process, that you don't just have to throw something away and buy it. So for me, that was a big piece of the maker side of the things that I developed for Unit of Study. And then the other part, like family genealogy, I just really enjoy history and understanding kind of that, learn from the past. I really believe in that. So making sure that we don't make the same mistakes that we did in the past. So that's definitely coming. I know a lot of us are looking back at the pandemic and things like that. So again, just those interests that I have in general in life. I like to try lots of different things. I'm not an expert in any of them, but I do enjoy trying things.
Awesome. Thank you. We have some friends saying hi here. Jalen. Hi, Jalen. We have Kyle as well. How you doing, Kyle? Here we go. Yeah, Jalen has a question. Ms. Turner, we'll start with you. What is your favorite color and what is your favorite animal?
So I am one of those that I really struggle with having a favorite in anything. I try to give everything a fair shot. So I like all the colors in some form, but I guess my kind of go-to answer is my blue, the color of my kids' eyes. That's my favorite color. As far as animals, I'm more of a dog person than a cat person. And we are fostering a dog right now and helping her get adopted, hopefully. So that's one of the things we're doing during quarantine to help keep us busy, is teaching her how to have good manners and get her adopted out. So
awesome. Mr. Adamson.
I don't really know favorite color. I don't think I have one. So I'd never say that I do, because if I do, it'll be a different one each time.
Yeah.
Animal. I'm fascinated and scared of alligators. I think that I don't know, they freak me out, but I really want to look at them and see them in controlled settings, because I think that they're fascinating, but I do not want to be eaten by one. So that would scare me.
See, I learn something new every day, and I work with you all the time.
Yeah.
Serenity is here. Serenity is a Meadowbrook student. She knows me. She's actually in the same grade my daughter is, but she wants to know, Mr. Adamson, when did you teach at Meadowbrook?
How many years has that been, Fogel? I taught right across from Miss Fogel at Meadowbrook. Okay. So I'm trying to think. It's been 8 years, maybe.
Yeah, I think maybe Serenity was probably in kindergarten, I bet, when that happened. That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's been a while, but yeah, that's how me and Miss Fogel knew each other before this, because I taught right across from her at Meadowbrook.
There you go. So,
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So here we go. Let's get down to the nitty gritty. And I know our SAGE students are going to have some questions in regards to what next year's SAGE is going to look like. We meet as a team every Monday, and we don't have all the answers. So please ask questions. We might not have the answer, but it definitely helps us think about some of those things that you guys are thinking about. But Aziz wants to know, how will we sign up for UOS next year when we are not at SAGE right now? Ms. Turner, would you like to start?
Well, so in our conversation that we had, we are going to send out a survey for incoming sixth graders, so that won't affect you, to try and get those classes designed for right now. For 7th and 8th graders, which will be you guys, we are going to, we haven't exactly decided on the format, but we are going to do some kind of promotion of what the classes will be, but the actual sign up will not be until the first week of Sage next year, just so that, because we have kids that don't have connectivity, they're not always here. So we want to give everyone a fair shot, and we all grow over the summer. Who knows what you get into and change your mind about by next year. So 7th and 8th grade will be signing up at the first week of the Sage week next year, and then we will be telling you what the classes are before the end of this year.
Awesome. Thanks, Ms. Turner. Mr. Adamson, would you talk a little bit about how badging will work? So if we are not going to be using the badges at the end of this year, we'll be able to use, can you talk a little bit about what our team has decided about badges?
Well, a lot of you have been concerned about the Hall of Flame. One thing that we're going to look at is basically cutting off badges at semester for counting for those types of things. So Hall of Flame, if you had a perfect amount of badges, which would have been 40 badges at semester, then you will make Hall of Flame for next year, and we'll have that put up on the wall as you saw coming up the stairs, just like last year. Other than that, we will when we look at semester classes too, like next year at the order that they will take, we'll look at semester badging and try to make it as fair as possible.
Awesome. So kind of the same thing where we'll still get to choose our classes based on our badges. Very cool. A lot of people have joined in to say hi. Hi, Joey.
Hi, Joey.
Joey, tell your family also we said hi. Sarah's on with us as well. We also have a question. Oh, this is Luke, by the way, not Sarah. Hi, it's me, Luke. So hi, Luke. Luke has a question for us. What have you guys been doing since the COVID-19 hit? Mr. Adamson, let's start with you.
Well, not that much. I mean, get out and walk every day. We have an ongoing, our family's very competitive, so we have an ongoing competition that we're doing where if all 4 of us play a board game or a game outside, or we had a competition where we remade famous paintings we each get a point for whatever we win. So we have an ongoing tally sheet on our back window of who's in the lead, and I'm not in the lead, as my son will call me. So
that's awesome.
I've just been kind of hanging out at home. My daughter's home from college. My son stayed down with his girlfriend in Rolla, where they are taking online classes, but they have an apartment. So they stayed down there. So it's been fun just being with my daughter. She is vegan. So we've been learning how to cook, remember how to cook for vegan people. So diets. So we've been doing that. Lots of watching Netflix and go outside when I can, when the sun is nice. That really helps recharge me. So
yeah, awesome. I wanted to make sure you know what Jalen said. Miss Turner was fostered a dog named by Ginger, but we got too attached and they ended up keeping her. So be careful, Miss Turner.
Yeah, they're called foster fails. We are not going to foster fail. I have to keep saying that. She is lovely and we do adore her, but we do want her to find a forever home. With both the kids in college, I want to be able to go travel and see them. So that's why I don't want the responsibility of a dog once things get back to normal. And that's why we chose to foster, so we can give somebody a home temporarily.
Awesome. Hey, this is a great question. I know we haven't really talked about it too much, but a little bit. Let's see, Mr. Adamson, will you switch out the Hall of Flame plaque every year, or will we keep them up on the wall?
Each new year we'll keep up on the wall, so that you can come back for years to come and see your name still up there. I think it's important to have a connection to the center, and we thought that it would be a good way to really, make your mark on the center, that you had a year that was so special.
Awesome. Before we move to the hot seat, because we are at our halfway point, I wanted to let you know that Miss Duffett finally watched Jojo Rabbit.
I did too.
I think it's the best movie of the year, kids.
Awesome. That's awesome. All right. It is now time for the hot seat. So engage with Sage. If you are watching and you have a hot seat question for either Ms. Turner or Mr. Adamson, you can definitely add it to the comments. But for right now, I'm going to use that Google form you guys filled out, which is never too late to fill those out with any more questions that you have. Okay, here we go. Ms. Turner, Samsung or Apple?
Well, as you can see behind me, we are an Apple family. My husband started out with fixing computers. He's an IT guy, and he started out in the Mac world. And so we've always been Mac people and Apple products.
Awesome. Thank you. And that was from Audrey. Audrey, great question. Okay, here we go. Mr. Adamson, this is Anastasia, wants to know, what is your favorite Harry Potter book?
My favorite Harry Potter book is Half-Blood Prince, and I love it because it tells the story of Voldemort and how he came and what he is and why he's there. And I just think it's the most layered of the books. I love it a lot.
Very good question. Okay, here we go. Sorry, I got distracted. One of our students is watching, but has also emailed me. So I thought that was pretty funny. Here we go. Miss Turner, would you rather eat a cockroach or have brain surgery?
Brain surgery all the way. I can be knocked out for that. Brain surgery for sure. No cockroaches.
Thank you, Elliot. That was a pretty funny question. I did not know what she was going to say on that one. Okay, Mr. Adamson, Selma wants to know, what inspired you to teach botany?
I think it's fascinating, things coming from seeds and growing into the fruit. I think that whole process, and there's just so many scientific questions you can ask and things you can do that I thought that would be a great thing to explore, and especially with kids, because they see so much change and since we're in a week-long look, from week to week, you see so many changes occur.
Awesome. 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 Okay.
The fact that it takes energy from the sun and creates this whole new thing is pretty cool.
Yeah, it is awesome. Miss Turner, favorite Fab Lab project? This is from Brian.
I think my favorite projects, I've really enjoyed the autonomas. Recently, I think that the kids have really gotten some creative ideas. Prior to that, I think my favorite project was the guppy tank and seeing how the kids solved a problem. And they were so varied. And so I think that's been my favorite, is the guppy tank and seeing them come up with solutions.
Awesome. Very cool. Oh, here we go. We have a comment here. My mom and dad and I use Apple phones, iPad, Dell computers, and my favorite HP book is The Deathly Hallow. Thank you for sharing that. Drop-teeny cockroach for me. No brain surgery for Drop-teeny. Nope. That's awesome. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Mr. Adamson, hot seat question. Elliot wants to know, most random fact you know.
Most random fact I know. Let's see. I had to think for a second on that. One of the things I love to do is the International Space Station. If it's on a clear night, you can look up online when it's flying overhead, and you can see it move through the sky. It's really go to a website. You're at home for a long time at night. Go and look and see what time it's going to fly overhead.
Very cool. All right, here we go. Hot seat question for Miss Turner. Why did you start teaching Sage?
So both my kids, about the time that a position opened up in Sage, had been not diagnosed, they were discovered to be gifted. And so I thought, what a great way to learn more about giftedness by teaching. So that was how I got into it. And it's really because both my kids are so different. My son is twice exceptional, so he's a 2E kid. He's has learning disabilities with writing and reading, but he is such a high math science kid, and he's going to be an engineer. So he's using his strengths. And then my daughter, who's she's that multi-potential. Like, she could do anything, which is really cool, except for the fact that it's really hard hard to pick something she's passionate about. So seeing both of those kinds of gifted kids in my same house who have almost the exact same IQ really helps me understand you guys as you come in, and that each of you has, unique challenges. So again, I love to, I'm a lifelong learner. And so I think that's part of it. And then also I think another piece of it is that because we do get to be a partner with you guys in our curriculum, and that we get to ask you to have a lot of input, I really enjoy that process versus me just being in front of you, giving you, here, do this, this, and this. I really enjoy that collaboration.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. We have a question over here from Mr. Droptini. Mr. Adamson, what is your favorite murder?
I don't know if I have a favorite murder. That sounds like a weird question. How about I put it this way? Any of the murders that we put on in our class every year, I think those are my favorite murders. I think things are interesting. I don't know if I have a favorite murder though.
Intriguing.
They're intriguing, absolutely.
Oh, Miss Co's on, everyone. So if you would like to say hi to Miss Co, thank you for joining, Miss Co. That's awesome. All right. So hot seat question from Layla. Favorite Harry Potter book character, Mr. Adamson?
I like Snape. I think he's the most fascinating because you throughout the whole series you're questioning whether he's good or bad. I think that makes him interesting.
Very cool. Okay, so Miss Turner, this is for you. Just a time check, everybody. We are kind of getting to the point where we're wrapping up, and then we'll end with some announcements. So if there's any other questions you guys would like to ask, please put those in that comment section. All right, Miss Turner, do you have pets besides the one that you're fostering?
Right now, other than one we're fostering, we don't. But I have had at times when the kids were little, hamsters, fish, bearded dragon, and then we've had, so our favorite breed of dog, my husband's had them since he was little, and then now once we got married, I love them, is Great Danes. So we've had Great Danes through my kids' entire life until recently. So those are I've had lots of different kinds of animals throughout my life.
Those are some big old dogs.
They are, but they are the sweetest little things, and they love to just like be lap dogs, even though they're so not.
Awesome. All right. This is your last hot seat question, Mr. Adamson.
All right.
Whew. What is your favorite video game? Brian wants to know.
Oh, Madden. I love football. In fact, I was watching the draft last night, checking off the people that were picked. So yeah, I love. Me and my son are starting a second season of Madden right now that we're working on.
That's awesome. 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 All right. This question is kind of for both of you guys, and it kind of will go into our announcements. But people are kind of wanting to know, is anyone at the Sage building? So if they've left something there, or if they have lost and found, are they able to do that right now? Ms. Turner, do you have an answer for that?
So right now there's no one staffing the front desk, but if you have something that you need, contact your teacher, or I can happy to run up and we can arrange a time that you can meet to where we can leave it outside. Now I'll have to prove it through Dr. Marsden and make sure, but no, there's no one really up there at this point.
Okay, so just contact your homeroom teacher if you have any questions about getting to the building.
Mr. Adamson, I saw your eyebrows go up.
I just know that we've been told not to go to the buildings a lot, so I didn't know. I don't want to give them false hope that they're going to get something back at this point in time. We'll make sure that it's safe, and after this is all over, we can get it to you, definitely.
Yeah,
okay.
And I'm going to do some projects for some of the kids later on, and I'll just save them for next year as well.
Cool. Yep. So just contact your Sage teacher if you guys have any questions about getting up to the center. I know none of us are there. That's for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So anything you guys want to say to all of the Sage kids? Mr. Adamson, any last comments that you want to make?
Just that that it's been an experience for all of us trying to do this online, and we're always happy to hear what you think and what's going on and what would be helpful for you as we go. I know Canvas, we're used to being there for you if you have questions right away, and we're trying to be there for you on email as well. But just ask questions and tell us what you need, because that makes it easier for us. We can't read minds, especially this far away.
Awesome. Thank you. Ms. Turner, any last comments?
Again, I echo what Mr. Adamson says, but also just we miss you guys. We really would prefer to be in front of you. Can't wait to see what next year, getting back to next year. And then just the Makers Challenge. I hope you participate in that and get those ideas in. I already have some ideas turned in, and I can't wait to share those with our maker, who will be with us April 30th for a live question and answer time. So he's a local entrepreneur who has done a lot. He has a TV show nationally on PBS. It's called Make 48. So he really knows what he's doing when he has new ideas and products. And Make 48 is actually a competition that they do yearly, that teams can go in and in 48 hours, they give them a category, and then in 48 hours, they have to have a product, a prototype, and a pitch to give. And like QVC was involved. So again, this guy really knows what he's doing. So I can't wait for him to see your creative ideas because like I said, you guys are way more creative than I am.
Awesome. Thank you. And Miss Duffett misses you all. We miss you, Miss Duffett. We miss all those Sage kids. We really appreciate you guys joining us live. We do have some upcoming guest speakers, so I love it when you guys can log in live and ask questions. We will send out another Google form for next week. We are starting to get some guest speakers, so we have a surprise speaker coming to join us with Engage with Sage next week. We're also looking into getting maybe the high school teachers involved as well. To get some of those questions answered. So we hope any thoughts and opinions you guys might have, send your teacher an email, and we can continue to make this Engage with Sage about you students and answer those questions that you guys have about Sage and your Sage teachers. So we thank you. Thank you, Ms. Turner. Thank you, Mr. Adamson. Thank you, Ms. Duffett, Ms. Coe, Ms. Torres joined us, and everyone else that's watching live. And we hope that we see you guys next Friday at the same time for Engage with Sage episode 3. All right, guys. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.